Hello everybody, and welcome to my third video. My name's Thomas, and I just wanted to share with you today my everyday carry, the Zebra F-707 or F-701 ballpoint pen, and how I've modified it to be able to turn it as a pen blank. So this is the modified 707 that I use as my everyday carry. There are a few errors I made in the first couple steps, including this one and a couple others that I'm going to point out. But the majority of this video is going to be disassembly and reassembly of the pens, so that you can pull the metal casing off and use that as your tubing for a pen blank. So these are what I'm using. Get that in there. Alright, so the F-701 fine tip ballpoint pen. Disassembly is relatively easy. You take the end cap off here, remove your pen to insert. You can also, with a little bit of effort, pull this cap off. But let's go ahead and get this end off here. It can be a bit tight, so I'm going to lightly grip it and free it. If it'll cooperate with me today. If you have pliers with soft jaws or leather, it would probably work out well for this. It is a screw-on. There we go. I think I ended up, just a little bit of marring there from when it slipped off. So that unscrews. Remove the upper pin. Now this takes, you can wiggle it back and forth a little bit, and you can see that gap forming there. So this knurling section will actually come off. You'll end up with the black tubing that goes all the way through, and that's removed with a little mechanical agitation. As you pull it free, and now you're left with a tube for a pen blank. So outside diameter 3/8. I actually use a 25/64 bit for drilling out the wood blank, so that there's a little less of a friction fit. Oh. But let's start that over again. Not quite 10 millimeters. No, 3/8 is your closest. And for the inside diameter, not this is going to play much with what you're doing here, but it is closer to 9 millimeter. And of course the overall length right at 3 inches. And you would treat it like a normal pen blank from this point out. Rough out the exterior surface so that your glue can have a good adhesion with a wood blank or whatever material you're using, and putting it back together is just a reverse of what you did. See? When you do this, you'll probably have to use a pair of clamps or pin vise to push it all the way together. Spring going into the clicker. Put that on the right end with the rest of the tube. This will screw on. And like I said, once you finish, you'll press that together. This will tighten up a little bit more. I do want to go over now one of the lessons I learned about this is when I first turned it. You can see on this pen how very fine I got that tolerance up there, and as I used it, it developed that little bit of gap. You can see where a little water intrusion, and it's flexible now. And also had these two, and you can see where that one's chipped out a little bit, and this one has cut through to the actual glue underneath. So what I found from that is the closest fit I could find is Penn State Industries PKL760BU, and that's their 2-piece Oxford V2 pin kit bushing set. And I have 2 sets here. And what these will do is they're going to give a little bit of room. This is where that interior diameter came in. So, as you can see, that just barely fits in there. But it's going to give you a bit of a lip. And that's what you're going to work with when you're turning these so you don't cut too close. And what I ended up with after the fact, and we can see it on this set, where I ended up with an upper surface there, or you can actually turn it in towards the top. It may be possible to find a new clip that's a little bit more robust up there to expand into that area, but I think just turning it down so that you have a little bit more to work with up at the top worked best. And like I said, these were the Penn State PKL760BU bushings. Now, for mechanical pencil, it's almost the same. Notice that it has plastic up here. The 701 kits, when they first came out, had this plastic piece as well. It's been changed out to metal, and that was the big difference between the 701 and the 707. That and the clip, which I really liked from the 707, which is why this one's my everyday carry. So something to keep in mind with this, you are going to need to remove the pencil lead that comes in it. There should be 3 pieces. Looks like one piece is already captured. I'll try not to break that. Once again, remove the tip, and that's why that wasn't coming out easily. And I'm just lifting that ring to see if I can get the rest of that pencil out, and it is not going to cooperate. We'll try it in the other direction. Nope. Alright, so we've got the same thing. We've got that tight tolerance there, and you just got to shim it back and forth a little bit while twisting. There we go. Ah, yeah. One of the differences, you've got to unscrew this piece here, the mechanical portion of the pencil, and then it's going to stick a little bit because of a piece up top. Just pull it through, it'll be fine. Alright, now we should be able to get that off the rest of the way. There we go. And again, we're going to need to take this top portion off. This one's a little easier than the metal one was. And again, as with the pencil kit, mechanical agitation. Just a little bit of force and push that out. And the pen blank's the exact same as the pen, and it doesn't matter which direction it goes on here, so when you turn it, it doesn't matter which direction you put it together. And we'll put this one together again real quick, just to kind of show in reverse. Feed the tube through, push it down level. Next, we're going to put on our metal barrel. Once again, a metal clamp will help with that, and hold on for one moment. I may have said metal clamp, I meant a quick clamp. So just a little bit of pressure, and it's together. Alright, we'll remember to thread this piece in, and that's the piece that it pulled free from, was sticking there a little bit. It's hard to see. It's part of the top assembly, and you can actually remove it as part of the top assembly if you do it right. Otherwise, there we go. It's just that little piece there. Now we can thread this mechanical operator back in. If you need to grip it, it does have some flat surfaces to help with a little bit. And try not to drop everything. Make sure you put that back on the correct direction. So it goes on the top right there, just like that. Clip in the top clicker, and then just tighten those down. Put our tip back on, threaded. Top. Yeah, I hope if I put the eraser. Yep. Other than the lead, that's all back together. Relatively simple process, just a couple steps to take it apart. The hard part for me was finding out just exactly how to get this insert out of the barrel, and it was a little while before I figured out that a quick thwack would take care of that with a soft mallet or a piece of wood. We've discussed the bushings I used, and like I said, that was one of my lessons learned as I showed you. And pretty much you can use whatever material you want. An upcoming video I have planned, this is actually leather that I've set in cactus juice and then turned. Since I've done it, I've seen a couple other videos with people who have done something similar. I've done something where I used glue in between. That didn't work out so well when cactus juice proved useful. We'll go over that later. But that's all I have for this portion of the video, and then I'll put together a short part after this where I speed through and turn a pen for this. So thank you for joining, and I hope everybody learned something. If this is useful to you or you think somebody else could use it, please by all means share it. Maybe give it a thumbs up. And I don't know how many videos I plan on putting together, but if you want to keep updated when I put something out, by all means subscribe. I don't plan on doing just wood turning projects. There's a number of things I'm involved in, so we'll see what comes up next. Thank you all, and have a great day. Real quick before I get these glued up, I did want to show, this is the drill bit that I had marked up, and is, I hope you can see, it is 25/64, and with that it's a relatively smooth fit. And if there are some minor variations, you could either sand down the tube a little bit more, or you could use a punch and tape some sandpaper to it and bore out the hole just ever so slightly until you get the fit that you want. Another little trick is where you're doing a couple of these, I kind of put the pen and pencil back together without the barrel, just so I don't lose or mismatch any of the parts. And between my last shoot and this one, this is the G301 Gel Tip Pen. It's one of their lower models. The barrel, as you can see, is a fairly different size. And slightly different way to take this apart. the tube is actually hooked into part of the clip up there, so you have to pull a little bit, especially the first time to get it undone. And this, instead of wiggling it back and forth, you actually have to unthread it. And then to get this out, you can either use a punch, or you can start off with this, with it threaded in only slightly, and you have to knock it a little bit. I don't know if you can see underneath there, but I'll get it the rest of the way apart. And we're going to grab a punch to finish that up. As for the which bushings to use for this, I haven't figured that out yet. It'll be a similar process of finding something with the same internal diameter as the barrel, and then a slightly bigger outside diameter, so you can have a little bit of a bulk built up. And as you can see, there's a little tab here. It lines up underneath the clip. So that is what was trying to break free when I was knocking it out. This one's a little firmer to take out than the F-701 was. Other than that, it goes back together in reverse order. This is actually a piece that came out. This was the part that the refill slides into to help it engage with a clicker. And if I figure out what bushing to use with this one, I'll add it to the comments in the future. This is the fairly standard size, I think, for all their lower end pens and pencils you tend to find in bulk stores. So it may be something worth following up as well. Maybe work out something to improve the grip here, maybe plate it or something. But I'll go ahead and get these glued up, and when that's done and everything's prepped, I'll do a quick speed run on putting together the pen and pencil set. And like I said, please share this with people if they think they could find it useful. Give it a like or a thumbs up, and I should hopefully be posting a couple more videos of different things, and if this was useful or entertaining, by all means subscribe. Thank you much, and y'all have a wonderful day.